Hi, everyone. This is Christina.
And Carmen.
And this is another episode of Spooky Tales. Today, there's no MJ, but we have a super special guest. I'm very excited. She's on TikTok. She's on YouTube. She has a podcast all about spooky stuff. So do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Candi Kaine, and this is my first podcast ever, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm a psychic medium and a tarot reader, and I have been for 8 years now. And now I tell spooky, true paranormal stories on the internet. That's about it.
And that's how I came across your TikTok page for the first time. I'm sure a lot of people came across these videos, but there was a bunch of people stitching this girl in her car who's like, tell me about a ghost story or something. And that's how I came across your videos. And seriously, everyone should follow you. I'm going to put your information in the show notes as well so that, you know, you're easy to find. So we're going to read a listener story. And if you have a story that you want to send in to the podcast, you can email espookytales@gmail.com. You can DM us on any of our socials. You can submit it on Discord. Any of those things are fine. You can call the Spooky Hotline. That's fine too. Lots of ways to get us your story. So we're going to read that. And then we're just going to hear all of our guests' awesome stories and very creepy stories. Carmen, are you ready to read it?
I am. And this listener story comes from the Discord. So they say, I was reading Loteria, the short stories you guys recommended, and the first story actually reminded me of an encounter I had in 2012. I had 2 encounters in Fort Sill while I was in boot camp. The first one was a little girl. As you know, Christina, when you're in boot camp, everything has to be a certain way. Well, we had to put our dress shoes inside a pair of socks on top of our locker, our boots and running shoes. Well, I can't exactly remember when it started, but at first I thought someone on fire watch was messing with my boots. First, they were moved out of place. Then my boot laces were out. And the weirdest part of it was I had the tip of the laces tied so they wouldn't become untied. Anyways, every morning my boots were out of place with the laces out and the tips untied. I was furious because it was such a small annoyance. And like, seriously, we put up with enough in boot camp and way too tired for this dumb shit. Anyways, one night I woke up to go pee and I was half asleep and my bed was towards the front. So I had to walk what seemed like a hallway that kept stretching and just seemed further away than usual. I rolled my eyes and I saw this little girl with curly hair and in a yellow dress. Mind you, it was dark, but somehow I was able to clearly see this little girl with her back towards me. I hear, so you want, oh God, sorry, I scared myself already because I was reading it. I hear, so you want to play in my head. I just said, fuck no, and turned the fuck around and went back to bed. Even though in the moment I was,
oh my God.
Even though in the moment I was scared, I didn't feel bad or negative energy. Anyways, the boot situation kept happening. So to get to the bottom of it, I started a rumor. It's a perfect way to deal with any situation. So I started a rumor that we had a little ghost girl in the barracks and if anyone else has seen her or heard anything weird. Everyone wanted to know more and I said, I keep hearing a little girl saying, do you want to play? And my boots are always out of place. Word gets around to the whole barracks about the little ghost girl and one of the girls pulls me to the side and asked me, is it a little girl with curly hair and a yellow dress, maybe about 4 or 5 years old? I never mentioned anything about age or what she wore, so it caught me off guard, but I said, yes, why?
Oh God.
She proceeds to tell me that her adopted little sister had passed away and it was the anniversary of her passing. I get chills instantly and the girl starts crying, says she misses her and shows me a picture of her. My face goes white as I was shocked, but had a sense of relief, not sure how to explain it. Almost like that feeling from La Rosa de Guadalupe when the rose disappears and the air hits.
That's just silly. That's a Mexican TV show where miracles happen and every time they do, a rose disappears and there's like a wind and the wind is so visible and the people in the show, their hair is just like flowing with the wind.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And also after that, magically my boots stayed in place every night after that. I felt like I was the middle person between them and helped them reunite or a way for them to reconnect.
That's cute.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. A little scary.
Scary still,
cute.
but
in the end.
Cute scary.
Yeah, because if anybody's asking me if I want to play, no.
No, thank you. No. Hard no. Either this person already had written this story on Reddit in the past, like anonymously, or it's a thing because I was at Fort Sill. That's where I did my boot camp. And there were I never saw anything, but there were stories about a little girl in a yellow dress.
Really?
So that is concerning to me.
Yeah.
hearing this, because now I'm like, what? I really hope it was her sister, and there just happens to be a second little girl ghost running around Fort Sill.
But that seems unlikely. That's scarier. No. Why would the ghost stay there if it was the adopted sister? So yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. What year was this?
I don't think I said a year. No.
I must have imagined
sorry.
it.
I did. Yeah.
I knew it.
2012.
When was I there?
It was not too long before you. No, after.
I can't remember. Wow. Was I there in 2012?
Were you?
I was.
You were, weren't you? Because we graduated in 2010.
I was there September 2012.
Oh my God, were they there at the same time?
Let me know, please.
Let Christina know.
Let me know.
That's crazy.
Because then it would make sense if I heard about this yellow dress girl then, and I'm just confusing about where I heard it. I'm small world. Oh my God. This is weird. This has never happened to me.
They had a second story, but I figured we would save it for another day.
Well, thank you so much for sending that in. And yeah, please let me know when you were there, because I did hear about this little girl too. so now maybe it is the sister then, and maybe she's moved on now, and there's like no other stories, you know.
I hope there's an update, because that would be
Yes.
crazy if y'all were there at the same time like that. That would be really nuts.
Right. What, Carmen? Is there an update? Like anything else about Fort Sill in the second story? Because like now I need to know more. You might as well just read it, honestly.
Okay. Second story. My second encounter at Fort Sill was after a long, hard day. It was when we marched to the gas chamber. I could have sworn they put something else in that gas chamber because on the march back, I couldn't stop seeing duendes and I felt like I was being fucked with. Did you see any duendes?
No, I saw nothing. On the last march we did, I was like hallucinating, but I think I was just tired because we were up for like 24 hours.
Ooh.
I don't think I could have sworn, you know, those stories of like shadows in the mountains, like in places like the
Appalachia?
What are they called? No, it's like these mountains in California. I can't remember. They're called the Watchers. Is the name of these things, the Watchers? And it's somewhere in California that people say they see them. So I could have sworn I saw like these tall black shadows. But I'm pretty sure I imagined it because I literally was so exhausted, about to fall over. I don't know how I survived that last march. I don't even remember how long it is anymore, but it's a super long like march that we do. And it's after being deprived of sleep for hours for a very long time. So I can't say for sure it was a paranormal experience. Though I did have a friend that said she saw duendes during that same march. So I don't know then.
Okay, wait. Tell me about those, because that sounds familiar, but I'm not sure if I'm remembering correctly. Is it like the little people?
Yeah, pretty much, but in Spanish.
But aren't they smaller than little people? I thought they were like
I personally,
tiny.
like my own theory is that they are the same thing, but just in different places of the world. And that's why they're called different like names. But to me, I think they're the same, honestly. Although I think like little people, do they say they resemble people more? Because duendes are more like ugly, like gnome looking things. Although sometimes they say that they look like old in their face. So there's different descriptions.
I always picture them like this big. Are they bigger than this?
Oh, I feel like they're like...
So I met this lady. I just thought about it. I was like, where did I hear about this at? I met this lady on a plane. I was like, where did I remember hearing this word? She said that they were like tiny. They looked like babies, but the closer you got, they got like really old faces and like scary teeth. Like she said that she saw them. I'm not sure if this was in Mexico or somewhere. Like I'm pretty sure she said Mexico. And there was like a creek, if I'm not mistaken. And there's a specific place that they're like, if it's dark, don't go to this creek. So she went anyway, like teenagers do. And she's like, oh my God, there's like a little kid and he has no clothes on. Like we have to save this little kid. And when she got close, it looked like a really shriveled old man. But she said he was like tiny. I mean, I don't know, like toddler sized. I've never seen it, so I don't know if that's terrifying.
It is. And yeah, so there's like, some people say they're toddler size, but then other people say they're smaller than that. But either way, they're horrifying.
Either way, I don't want to meet one.
Right.
So they go on to say, literally feeling like I was going crazy, like if I was on a bad trip or something. After showering and finally getting into bed, I was crying because I was so freaked out and having a moment of doubt, like what the hell did I get myself into, starting to feel regret. This tall lady in bright red hair walked over to my bed, kneeled down and held my hand. She said, everything is going to be okay. to not worry. Without realizing, I fell asleep peacefully, almost like it was just a dream, but really felt her hand. Anyways, with so much going on in boot camp, I entirely forgot about this encounter until months later. Hey, they went to Germany also. Okay, sorry. Let me go on.
Do
I
we know
skipped
each
ahead.
other?
I think you might know this person. So until months later, as in 6 months later, I was stationed in Germany. Not going to get into detail, some unfortunate events happened and I landed in the hospital being admitted to the psych ward. When I finally got to see a psychiatrist like a day or two later on his desk, I saw a picture of two women and him, and I was super hyper fixated on the picture until I just had to ask, who is that lady? He replied, my wife. I replied I saw her in Oklahoma and told me that everything is going to be okay, to not worry. He said that's not possible. She's passed away many years ago. And I said, how could that be? She held my hand until I fell asleep. He immediately told me our session was over, kicked me out of the office, and I was assigned someone else. It's one of those things I was just never able to explain, especially because Oklahoma and Germany are two separate countries. I never saw that doctor again, and I wouldn't know if he or she was from Oklahoma or any relation to that state, or if I was just simply put on that path to pass a message. To this day, it remains a mystery to me, and I get chills every time I tell this story. I hope you guys enjoy the story. Thank you, Jay.
That's insane.
Yeah.
No, but that is so weird because like they said in the message that this happened in Oklahoma and then this in Germany. So that's just like it was meant to be. Feels like a message.
Weird how both stories is like someone who passed away and then they like later encounter the person of the loved one of that ghost or whatever.
It sounds like Jay might be a medium.
Yeah, that really is what it sounds like.
Mhm.
Because like, what are the chances?
Like they went looking for Jay.
Right.
I love those stories though. Okay, well, let's take a quick ad break and then we'll get into the stories. And we're back. All right. Well, I encountered 2 stories on TikTok and I remember being very creeped out by them, but I can hardly remember them now. So it's going to be like new. But I mean, any stories that you want to share with us is totally cool.
So the house that I lived in with the most activity, I first saw it when I was 17. And an older cousin inherited it. And she was creeped out by it. She was like, maybe we'll fix it up and rent it out. But she's like, I'm not living here. I was like, you're crazy. Like, it was just so different and unique. And I was like, I'm in love with everything that makes this house creepy. But I just thought it looked really cool. But she must have been more in tune with it. But fast forward 10 years, I needed a place to stay and it had everything that I needed. Like the amount of rooms and everything. And if you're watching like a scary movie, to say like, oh, it had so many rooms and so much space and it was just so cheap, that's usually like a red flag. But to me, I was just like, oh, I manifested this. I was like, this is wonderful. Like it has everything that I need. And it didn't take long for things to start getting weird. So I started to kind of get into it with my sister here and there because it's like, I didn't let you borrow this. Why is this here? Or like, why didn't you put this back where you know that it goes? Like, I couldn't find this. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Or like, I'm hearing her and I'm just like, can you shut up? Like, I can hear you through the wall. And like, she just wouldn't be there. And it's like, there's something weird here. And so there was this area on my side of the house that I would call it a residual haunting. I called them the party people. It sounded like there was a party going on in that area every night at about the same time. And it happened. To me, it would sound like your uncles are getting drunk in the next room, like just being loud. And we would just like sit and look at each other like it was like having a really, really loud roommate. But still, it was like, well, maybe we're just hearing echoes from the house next door or the sound is carrying. Like I tried to be logical
to explain it away.
Yes, for at least the first 6 months. It took a really long time to accept it. Like I really didn't want to accept it. I really think I was just in denial because I'm familiar with like ghost things, but I think I knew it's like, okay, we're here for at least 12 months. So I'm going to have to figure out how to live with it. But it wasn't really until like the story that most people are introduced to me is by the Doppelganger story. There was a shadow person that lived in the closet in my bedroom.
Oh no.
Why is it always a closet?
I know.
Why is it always the closet?
But it was so crazy because there was a part of the closet that we could never get into for some reason. And I took that as I don't need to see what's in this. So I completely ignored that section. So like when people would ask like, oh, what's up there? Nothing.
Don't
We
even
don't
look
know.
there. Don't acknowledge
It's not
it.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, just pretend it's not there.
I just want to say, if that was a horror movie, the white person would have gone into that
Listen,
spot. Like,
Oh yeah.
Listen, I was very much Becky in every sense of it, because like everything that I could have done wrong, I did wrong. All the mistakes that you think you know, but in the moment, it's just like, I see why. Like before, horror movies didn't seem so realistic. Now that I've lived it, it's like, I could see myself doing that.
yeah.
But like I told myself that certain things that I would see, I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's just the shadows. Maybe I'm just not used to cars passing and just maybe it's light or something like that. And the ceilings were really high in my bedroom because the house was weird because it wasn't meant to be a house. I don't really know what it was before, but it was a few things. You could tell it was a few things. So just in my room, the ceilings were extremely high. And I remember late at night, and this actually made me come up with a rule, but late at night, I would lay down and just look in the darkness and I would just see things. It looked like, my boyfriend showed me Harry Potter, the Dementors. I'd never seen it.
Yeah.
I'd never seen it before until he showed me. And it's like, yes, that's exactly what it is. But I told myself it was just my eyes adjusting to the dark. I was like, maybe it's just I've never looked at it at night.
I mean, you had to rationalize it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would just sit and just look, and it's like, it's so crazy what our brains do. And that was not it at all. It wasn't until he started sleeping over and he got traumatized by certain beings there, because there were more than just the party people and the shadow person. There was something else. Yeah. So he had his situation. I'll get into that, but it wasn't until he was like, there's something that just flies around your room at night. Like, did you know that? And my heart just dropped. I was like, you see that too? Like, that's not just my eyes adjusting. And he's like, no, like I laid down and watched it while you slept. And he's like, it just has a pattern. It just goes back and forth. And that was when it finally set in. I'm like, it's haunted. Like, this place is haunted. And I couldn't deny it after that.
When someone else sees it, there's no more denying it.
Yeah. So a mistake that I made I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to tell y'all about the doppelganger for those who haven't heard that story. So we started out as friends, my boyfriend and I, so we would FaceTime late at night. And my rule was if the lights were off in the room, I had to either have my head completely covered or my flashlight on my phone. Like I just wouldn't be in the room while it was dark. But I was on FaceTime. I didn't want to hang up because, cute little puppy love. I wanted to talk on the phone. So I had my head uncovered and it was just complete darkness. And I had the phone like facing straight up, like on the pillow next to my head, like pointing straight up. So I could see him, but he couldn't see me. All he could see was darkness. And I'm dozing off and something tells me to open my eyes. And he's like playing a video game and he'll like look over and he'll continue playing the game and he'll look over. And I opened my eyes and I saw my face like really, really close to the camera. And I'm like, how did the phone move? I'm trying to make sense of it because I'm halfway asleep. And I'm just looking at it for like a second. I'm like, how did this happen? And I watch my face, mind you, I'm not moving. I watch my face back away from the camera.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
And mind you, the room is completely dark, so I couldn't see if anything was next to me, but I'm watching my face on the camera. I'm like this close and just like backing up. And I know I'm not moving.
Yeah.
And I wasn't making sense of it. And I was like, oh my God. And I saw he looked at the camera at that same time and he watched it too. But I didn't want to scare him. I was like, if he doesn't say anything, that was just my brain. I was half asleep. I'm dreaming. It's something. And he goes, like, why is your face in the camera like that? Like, or something like that.
Oh my God.
I said, wait, what are you talking about? He's like, I just saw your face. And I was like, no, you didn't. And I got up and I left. I went and I slept with my sister that night. I'm like, I'm not going back in that room. I'm not doing it. But
oh my God.
Yeah, that's the story most people have been introduced to me by.
That's the first one I saw.
Yeah. So we dealt with a lot in that house. Like, okay, so I have a son, and my son is nonverbal. So like, he'll be in his own little world. We kind of just coexist together. That's his version of playing. As long as you're in the room, he's fine. He doesn't want you to play with him, but you be here while I play with my stuff. So I remember I'm either waking up or falling asleep because there's multiple people in the house. So I could take a nap and he'll be running around and everything's fine. So I wake up and I can see he's under his cover, and he has like a little bean bag, and I hear his tablet. So I'm like, oh, he's in his own little world in the room with me. So I'm just like laying in the bed. I'm scrolling on my phone, and it's normal for me to speak to him and for him to not acknowledge me. So I'm just like, hey, bug. And I still hear the tablet, and I can see him like his outline under the cover. So I'm scrolling on my phone, and then I hear him in another room. So I sit up because I'm like, am I tripping? So I sit up, and I could see him wiggling because he's a little firecracker. I could see him wiggling when I first woke up under the cover. And when I looked up, the cover just went completely flat.
Oh my God.
Completely flat. And then, like, immediately after, my mom comes in the room and she's like, did you see Buck's tablet? And I'm just frozen. She's like, what's wrong? I'm like,
oh my
nothing.
God.
Like, should I even tell her? So I'm just like, nothing. When I tell you, it was like a movie living there. And we would just look at each other and be like, I can't wait to leave. Like, we were counting down. Yeah. And we left early.
So everyone was experiencing things like that?
Yes. Oh the
God.
only person who wasn't really scared for some reason was my sister. She would be the one, like, I would randomly hear her be like, shut up. And I'm like, what's going on? She's like, nothing. Like, to her, it was more like, I would be more scared. It was more annoying to her. Like, it was more like an inconvenience. Or like, she'd come in the room and just be like, do you have a comb? Do you have a brush? Because like, I'm knowing that it's just disappearing. I already know what happened. So I'm just like, grab what you need. Because I know you just had it and now you don't have it. I already know. Like, we kind of got used to that. Or like, you plug your phone and then you come back and the phone is just not plugged, or like just not in the wall at all. And nobody was in there.
No one's phones were ever charged.
No.
That's just petty. Like, what?
It hated us talking on the phone, apparently.
Like, stop scrolling, get off your phone.
You're not allowed.
So I don't know, I might be skipping ahead a little bit, but there was a neighbor who I kind of gotten to know just in passing, just hello, how you doing? Because in the South we speak, even if you don't really know that person. It's hello, how you doing? Good morning, whatever. He was, oh Lord, I never actually really talked about this part. I kind of hinted at it on YouTube, but I never really talked about it. But his son dated a girl who lived in the house before me, like when they were teenagers. And he's like, well, they were into that weird stuff. And I'm like, what weird stuff? And he's like, all the devil stuff and the Ouija boards and all that. And he's like, I told them not to bring it into my house anymore. So they moved it to her house, which was the house
where you're at.
Oh my God.
So
they
it's
caused
like,
it.
okay, that kind of explained where some of that might have been. And I have a theory. Of course, I'll never know because I was scary. I was too scary to really look in that closet. But I had a theory that it might have been in that closet, like in that space up
Still
top.
there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it was weird. It was a lot. But I have stories for days just in that house.
I mean, that blanket thing, horrifying. I
would be
almost
so
threw up.
scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was probably the weirdest thing. And I think it's because I feel like my son might have been the hardest one to mimic. I think everybody kind of got mimicked. So, I would hear my sister or my mom would hear me singing. Like, she would say that a lot.
God,
like,
I just got so scared.
Yeah. And you want to know something crazier? People still hear me singing there.
Oh my God.
I'm in Colorado. That house is in Louisiana.
Oh my God. Like, it keeps your voice or something. Oh my God.
Yes. I'm so
like
serious. So the same way that the neighbors had thought that we moved in before we were actually there. Yeah, so they were like, oh, there's been like loud music and stuff, which now I know was the party people. But they thought we had moved in before. And I was like, no, like they were still repairing things before we had gotten in. And I just kind of thought, well, maybe it was the guys who were working on the house. Maybe they were working late and partying. It's certain things you just have to tell yourself.
Yeah.
But again, those were the neighbors who were like, yeah, well, nobody stays there that long. Like, I'm surprised y'all lasted this long. It's like, I wish y'all would have said something
before.
Right?
Why didn't you say anything? Seriously.
Right. There was a lot. But now I've grown to view the shadow person as more of a guardian, I think.
Okay.
Well, should I go into that? Because that's like another story.
If you want.
I feel like I'm just like rambling on and on and on.
No, that's what we do here too. So it's fine.
So my boyfriend got scared when he was alone. I'd left him alone and I'd gotten kind of comfortable in our routine. So we were always together. So I wasn't so scared when he was around, but we would be there together. And I made the mistake of leaving him in another room and going to bed in my room. And then he got really, really scared by something that looked like it crawled from under the house. That's the way that he described it. He's like, it's like caked with dirt and ripped up clothes. And like it ran up to him and screamed in his face.
That's horrible.
Yeah. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I'm just like, he didn't come like to bed. So I'm just like, what's going on? So I get up to go find him and he's just sitting. There's nothing on TV. It's completely quiet. Every light is on. And he's just like sitting there. And I'm like, what's wrong? And he just looked so scared and he wouldn't tell me. He didn't tell me for like a couple of weeks what happened. But I kind of viewed it at like, he was like, well, maybe it scared me because I wasn't with you. I kind of felt like it scared him so he would be in the room where nothing else would happen, because there were multiple things. There was the shadow man, there was that thing, there was the party people, there's a little thing that looks like a little kid. It was just a lot going on. So I viewed because the shadow guy never really scared me, besides the fact that I had to leave clothes, like a basket of clothes on the chair that I had in the room, because in the middle of the night, if I would look over, I would see somebody, like an outline of somebody just like sitting there. So the way that I viewed it was, if I fill up this chair with things, the shadow man maybe
can't sit there.
Yeah, he won't sit here. Maybe he'll know he's not really welcome. But
that's totally a thing, though.
Sense.
They say, at least in Mexico, I know people say this, but like, don't have chairs inside your room.
Are you serious?
Like, it's inviting.
Because I was thinking of getting a chair.
Entities. Don't do it.
But it's gonna be my clothes chair. It's for my clothes.
No, that's fine then. If you fill it up, they can't sit there.
Okay.
But
my husband Paul, he doesn't want me to get the chair because he says I'm going to put clothes on it. But now I have a reason to put clothes on it.
Now you have to put clothes on it.
You
This
have
to him.
It's necessary.
Oh my God, that's scary.
I wish I had known that was a thing before.
There's also the doormat thing that they say.
what doormat thing?
Oh, not to have a welcome mat?
Oh, mine says like, it's that cringy like millennial thing that's like, don't knock, we don't want people here, or something like.
Well, that's very unwelcoming.
Yeah, that
might be a good thing.
yeah. So I feel better now. I wonder if that thing was just, the shadow thing was just sitting there like guarding you from this creepy crawly thing that.
See, that's kind of what I told myself. That I don't know.
It sounds better.
I don't know if that was just my mind making something that would let me stay there without losing my mind. So maybe that's just, I don't know. But
yeah,
there was a lot going on. Maybe he was guarding the Ouija board. That's something that I kind of.
Yeah, I don't like that one.
I was like, maybe he just like, maybe that's why he would just be in the room. Maybe he wanted to make sure I didn't play with that, but I don't know. A lot of it is just a mystery.
Well, it must be later for you. We could wrap up here if you want, unless there's more stories you want to tell us. We're okay with either one.
It's really up to y'all. If I can come back for another one later, it's
oh my
it's up
God,
to y'all.
Yes, let's do that. We would love that.
I have stories on stories on stories.
Yeah, no, this was great. So yeah, you're always welcome back. Seriously, thank you so much for coming on. At the end of every episode, we give spooky recommendations. So anything spooky related, you've been watching or listening to. Do you have any?
I have 2 books actually.
Ooh,
Books.
okay. Carmen's been obsessed with reading lately, so.
I'm trying to start like a pretty spooky book club. So far, it's only like a TikTok series because I don't really know how to do a book club. But
Oh my gosh. Well, if we ever are reading the same book, let us know and we'll do a whole episode on it because we have like they're not monthly. They're like, I don't know, every 3 months we read a different book and record an episode on it. And they're always horror books. And we
That's
love to do
awesome.
horror books that are like not by white authors.
I got
So
that.
yeah, if there's a book, like, yeah, for sure we should do one of those together too. That'd be fun.
Definitely. Okay, so first I have Never Whistle at
That's
Night.
on my list.
Is
Yes.
it? That's dope. An Indigenous dark fiction anthology, and I love horror anthologies. I've only read the first story so far because I'm trying to finish a book before I start another one, but clearly I'm failing at that. And this one is so good, honestly. You need it. If it's been on your list, you need to get it.
And the cover's so pretty too.
It is.
It is.
One more time for the cover.
Yes, yes. It's beautiful.
And this one is more of a spicy book. It's my first spicy book that I've ever gotten. I accidentally summoned a demon boyfriend.
Oh,
And this is by
okay.
Jessica Cage. I actually found her on TikTok, and one of my book talk friends recommended it, and she actually bought it for me. She gifted it for me, and I'm so thankful that she did because I haven't been able to put it down. When I'm supposed
Oh
to
my
be
God.
sleeping, I'm reading this book, like, and I'm almost finished. Like, and this is like the quickest I've finished a book because I have ADHD. So that should tell you how good the book is.
Join the club.
Yeah, but those are my two spooky recs.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm gonna add both of those to my list, but like actually get them because I have a list and I never like get anything from the list, but for sure buying those.
Look, bump these up to the top because I have a ton of books
shall.
that I start and then now they're just in the corner somewhere. But these two, like, I have a hard time putting them down. I'm like, okay, you have to go to sleep. You have stuff to do tomorrow. But they're really good. But thank y'all for having me. I'm so
Oh, of
excited.
course.
It was my very first time being asked to be on somebody's podcast, and I've been binge watching y'all like since I got the message. I'm like, okay, so every time I'm like cleaning or doing something, I put y'all on the TV, like on YouTube on the TV, and I just sleep and listen to you guys.
Oh, thank
So,
you. Yeah.
yeah.
I sent the message and I was like, please reply, please reply.
And I hardly ever open DMs, but it was meant to be. It was meant to be that I saw the
Yes.
message because I never see, I miss a lot of messages, but it was meant to be.
I love that because I also don't open TikTok messages. They're always strange. So,
Very.
oh man, Carmen, do you have any spooky recommendations before we go?
No.
We just recorded yesterday, so it would make sense that you don't have any. I'm still only watching Degrassi on my free time, so I have no spooky recommendations. But if anyone wants me to talk about Degrassi, I will.
Which one are
I
you
will.
on? Like the older ones or like the new generation?
The next generation, but I'm in like the last 2 seasons where all the like OG, like where Jimmy was on, Drake. They're all gone. They've been gone, and now it's like this new class, and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about them, but I'm watching it anyway because like I have to finish now.
I was so hurt when Jimmy got shot. I almost stopped watching it. Like when I was a kid, I almost stopped watching. I was like, I thought he was going to be my husband, my 13-year-old brain. But yeah, I almost stopped watching. But Degrassi is a really good show.
It's
It might not be
great.
spooky, but it's a really good show.
It's great, and I love that you've watched it. Yeah, because last time I tried talking more about it, Carmen's like, "All right, stop," because no one.
Well, it's because you went on.
I went on
already
yeah,
about
I did,
it,
I did. It was too long,
and we talked about it for like a long time. I felt like
yeah, and it was like 3 episodes in a row that I kept bringing.
that was the
Degrassi.
only reason I shut you down.
You're right. You're right. Hopefully soon I'll have a spooky recommendation because I need to stop. But before we go, do you want to tell listeners where to find you? And again, I will link all this in the show notes.
Okay, so Candi Kaine on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. And also the Pretty Spooky Show on Instagram. I just started that Instagram. I'm trying to do more YouTube exclusives and Instagram exclusives, just to move a bit away from TikTok because I put so much on there, and I kind of want to build like a spooky community just specifically that on Instagram. So follow me on The Pretty Spooky Show. Don't have many followers, maybe 14, I think. But
I need to follow you. I don't think I've done that on Instagram.
I'd appreciate it. Dang, why am I blanking? I'm doing a series. It's a collection of video essays on spooky, paranormal things, true stories, haunted places. What else? I'm totally blanking. The only
it's
part
the
of
ADHD and the nerves combined.
It's like when they ask you something and then on the spot you're like, ooh, what? I forgot my name.
No, okay. I'm gonna pause here. I was doing an interview for this like freelance gig, and they were like, "Where are you from?" And my ass said California, and I haven't lived in California in like 10 years now. And I'm like, why did I say California? And then later they're like, oh, how's the weather in California? I was like, oh, it's actually raining in Washington. And they're like, didn't you say you're from California? And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I said that.
It's crazy because it's the only part that I was like, okay, I'm really nervous, but it's like, okay, just make sure that you don't forget to talk about your YouTube and like the projects that you're working on. So I'm just like, okay, don't forget about the video essays. Don't forget about and completely. That's the only thing I'm just completely blanking on. But I've been working on this series, this collection of video essays about supernatural, paranormal things and a lot of folklore because I'm really into folklore. Yeah, so that's what I'm working on. I've only started really posting on YouTube like a week ago. So I'm trying to, get up there and do my thing. I think I'm getting better. I'm going to be improving. But yeah, that's where people can find me. YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, all the same name, Candi Kaine or The Pretty Spooky Show. So whichever one you type in, I'm going to pop up. Oh,
sweet.
And ecstasymagic. How am I forgetting my website? The one place where you can find everything. Ecstasymagic.com. That's my website. So if you want to talk to me, that's the best way to find me because DMs get drowned out, but I answer everybody who messages me on ecstasymagic.com.
Awesome. And those are all things that all of our listeners love. So we'll make sure to like continuously plug your TikTok and your YouTube, all of it, because I love it, and so I'm pretty sure everyone else will. You know what? That's the spooky recommendation.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, of course. And seriously, thank you so much for coming on. And we'll for sure have to ask you to come back.
Thank y'all for having me.
So
you'll be less nervous.
I'm looking forward to being back. Next time I won't be so nervous. What did you say?
I said the same thing.
Yeah, what did you say, Carmen?
I said that.
Okay.
That you'll be less nervous next time.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, it was like natural. I couldn't even tell.
No, you couldn't even tell that you were nervous.
Until you forgot everything at the end.
Yeah, just till then. When you blanked out.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna be better next time. I'm gonna look back and
we
be like,
believe in you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. And what should we say? I don't know. Watch out for little kids in
yellow dresses.
Yeah. Watch out for that. There goes my light. All right. That's a sign. Stay spooky, everyone. And we'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.